Why we think you should come to our country.
GDP. GDP stands for Gross Domestic Product, which is the total market value of all final goods and services produced within the borders of a country in one year. The formula for GDP is C plus G plus I plus X minus M. C stands for Consumer Goods and Services, G stands for Government Goods and Services, I stands for Investment, as in business purchases, and X minus M stands for Net Exports. GDP adds all of this together to achieve the national income.
GDP in the United States of America has been steadily on the rise over the past 10 years. It has reached an all-time high of $15.09 trillion at the end of the third quarter in 2012. The GDP growth rate has also been increasing since the recession of 2008. In the third quarter, the GDP growth rate was grown by 2.7%, which is good because that means unemployment rate is going down as well. Both of the graphs show that the U.S. economy is growing and will continue to grow over the next years.
Inflation. Inflation is a sustained increase of the standard price level for the economy. Inflation is measured by CPI. CPI stands for the Consumer Price Index, and it averages prices of all consumers from one year to another, and the percent change equals the inflation rate.
The inflation rate in the United States has been pretty constant throughout the past 3 years after the recession. In 2012, the third quarter rate was at 1.7% inflation, which is close to the U.S. goal of 2 to 4%. We believe that the inflation will continue to stay constant around 2 to 4% for the years to come.
Unemployment. From this graph, you can see that the unemployment rate is continuously going down over the past year. It has dropped about 2% since last December. This means that more and more people are willing and able to find jobs in the U.S., which means you will be able to find people willing to work for you. According to the graph above, we believe that the unemployment rate will continue to drop until we reach the natural unemployment rate of 4%.
Aggregate demand and aggregate supply. Aggregate demand is the total demand in the national economy. It includes consumers, businesses, government, and foreigners. Aggregate supply is the quantity of all goods and services firms are willing and able to produce and sell at a certain price level.
Aggregate demand and aggregate supply shifts. The top two graphs show the aggregate demand curves. The curve shows the relationship between the average price for all goods and services and the output/GDP of all the goods and services. Any increase or decrease in the consumer goods and services, government goods and services, business purchases, or net exports will cause the graph to shift either for good or bad. The bottom two graphs show the aggregate supply curves. The curve shows the relationship between overall price and willingness of amount to sell. Any change in the curve is due to technology, resource, or capital.
We firmly believe that you would find great success in America because we have a strong economy, our inflation is right where we want it, and the unemployment rate is slowly decreasing. However, some states to avoid when starting your business in America would be North Dakota, Nebraska, and South Dakota because they have the lowest unemployment rate out of all 50 states, so it would be hard to find workers. The states we recommend for starting your business would be California, Rhode Island, and Nevada because they have the highest unemployment rate and it would be easy to find workers to help your business grow.
These are the websites we use to find the graphs to help persuade you to come to America.